Hello everyone, welcome to Skill Stream, where we make Python super easy to understand. In today's video, we are talking about constructors and destructors in Python. What they are, and use them, a real code example. So let's get started. So a constructor is nothing but a special method. So for creating a constructor, we will use a method double underscore in it double underscore and round brackets. So we don't have to explicitly call constructor. When we will create object of that particular class, the constructor is called automatically. Okay. Now, how to write constructor? The basic syntax is class. This class is a keyword. This is a keyword. This is a keyword. Class name colon. Def again is a keyword. Double underscore init double underscore init. Self parameter has to be the first parameter when I am writing a constructor or whether you are writing a method inside a class. So you can see this example. I have a class called student and I have created a constructor double underscore init double underscore, and inside parenthesis I am passing self parameter as well as I am passing one parameter, that is name parameter. So now I need to write the code for constructor. So we will write self.name equal to name. The same code which we have written for method in last video we have seen, right? If I am passing one more parameter here, suppose age, I will write self.age equal to age. Now we need to create object of that class. So we have created the object. This is an object. This is a class name. As because I have passed the parameter, I need to pass the value for that parameter. So this is the value. So when I am creating object of a class, constructor is called automatically. I don't have to explicitly write any code for calling constructor. We will see this in details when we will write the entire program for this. Okay, so let's move forward. So in constructor we have three types: default constructor, parameterized constructor, and constructor with default arguments. A default constructor is with no parameters, like I have def double underscore init double underscore. I will have just self parameter. That's it. This is default constructor. When I am talking about parameterized constructor, that means I need to pass some parameters. Self will be our first parameter, name, comma, age. So this name and age are two parameters which we are using inside constructor. So this is called as parameterized constructor. Now, constructor with default argument is a parameterized constructor in which we give default value self comma name comma age equal to suppose 10. So this age equal to 10 is default argument. I am giving default value inside constructor definition. Okay. Next is destructor. Destructor again is a special method. We define constructor using double underscore del double underscore round bracket. The only use of destructor is to destroy the memory allocated for a particular object when an object is no longer required. So if nothing is required, why we need to keep it, right? So we will destroy that particular object's memory which was allocated by the constructor. So what is the use of constructor, right? Suppose I have a constructor with double underscore init double underscore. I have a destructor as well, double underscore del double underscore. Constructor is used to initialize the objects. So I have an object, a memory is allocated for that object. Okay. So what is the use of this destructor is, when this object is no longer required, the destructor will destroy this object. Destroy the object means it will free the memory space which was allocated for that particular object using constructor. So that is the only use of destructor, to free up the memory space. So the syntax is class name colon def double underscore del double underscore self. So as such we don't have to write any code inside destructor. You can write a print statement or you can keep it blank. Okay. Now s equal to student. This means I am calling a constructor. When I need to call destructor, I need to write del and the name of object. So this del will delete the memory space allocated for this particular object s. Got it? So now we will move forward to see a problem statement. So today we're gonna define a class employee using constructor. See, method is different and constructor is different. Method is, we don't write double underscore init double underscore init. Method name you can give any name. Okay. Constructor name is fixed. I need to write double underscore init double underscore. Okay. So in this problem statement, we need to take a class employee with some details like name, employee ID and salary. And for displaying, I need to use a method display to print the employee details. Okay. Now in this I need to create two objects, one for default constructor, one for parameterized constructor. We will see one for default value as well. So the expected output is like this. So this is the input and this is the output. So are you ready for code, right? So we'll start coding. Now the name of class is employee colon def. How to define constructor? Double underscore init double underscore self parameter. Okay. Now first we will just see default constructor. Default constructor is constructor with no argument. So I will just write a print statement. Default constructor is invoked. Okay. So if I want to write a different display statement, display method, I can write Okay, now I need to create object. Name of class is employee. Okay, now as because this is default constructor, no parameter, that's it, e dot display. So this method is parameterized, so I need to pass parameter. That's it. Now we can execute this. I need to save it. So you can see, so this is the object I have created E, and this is the class name, right? So for calling a constructor, I just have to create the object of that particular class. So they while creating the object of the class, the constructor is called automatically, right? So this is a separate method, display method. So for calling this display method, I need to explicitly write object name dot display. As because this is parameterized method, I have passed the value. So you can see the output. Okay, now we will see constructor with we will see now parameterized constructor. Okay, class employee colon def double underscore init double underscore self parameter comma employee ID comma name comma salary. Now self dot emp id equal to emp id, self dot name equal to name, self dot salary equal to salary. Okay, so this is our parameterized constructor. In this we have passed parameters. Parameterized constructor. Okay, now for displaying as given in the problem statement, I need to use a display function. So the display function will only contain the print statements. Employee ID equal to comma self dot emp id. So whenever I am writing a print statement inside class, I have to use self parameter. If I need to display something outside the class, I need to use the object. I'll show how it works. Name. Okay. Is salary. Salary. Now it's time to create object. Okay, so E equal to employee. So as because this is parameterized, I need to pass employee ID comma name. As because this is string type of data, I need to pass in double quotations comma salary. Okay, Now we will use e dot display to call the method. Fine. So here we have created object. Now we will see the output. Let's just execute this. See, you can see the output, right? Employee ID equal to 12, name and salary. Okay. So what I was talking about is, if suppose I need to print this salary outside. Okay. Now for displaying something outside the class, I don't have to use self, rather I will use object which we have created, e.salary. Okay. Now check the output. See, salary equal to 10,000, employee ID and Sangeeta. So whenever I am printing a message inside a method, I need to use self. If I need to print it outside the class, I need to use the object of that particular class. So that is the only difference. Now, so we have got the expected output, right? I have employee ID, name and salary. Now we will see what is a constructor with default argument. See, the only difference in parameterized constructor and constructor with default argument is I will give default value over here. Okay. Now when I am executing this code, you can see the changes. If I am not passing the value of salary, still I'll get the output for salary. Why? Because I have given the default value over here. Okay. Now what if I have created one more object equal to employee 10, sign, 30,000, and then I am calling display function. Now check the output, right? So whenever I am passing the value for the default parameter, this new value 30,000, will override this value. So that's why you can see the output as 30,000 instead of 20,000. Okay. So that is the only difference between a parameterized constructor. In parameterized constructor, we don't give default value. In constructor with default parameter, we need to give some default value. That's it. Okay. Hope you got all this type of 3 constructors. So to sum it up, constructor initializes object and destructor cleans up the memory space when objects are deleted. Thanks for watching and happy coding.